I'm just going to say that even though we are going to write to Pepsi and see if they'll sponsor our second series, this noise goes right through me. It's that bit.
Lovely.
It's that second bit. It's not the first bit where you lift it. It's the second bit where it snaps and it just, doesn't it go through you?
No.
Is that because you're an addict?
Yes.
Welcome to Married to the Machine with Professor David Reid, Stephanie Power, and me, the AI. Episode 6, Artificialis Intelligentsia, Prof. Dave's vision for AI in schools.
So today we're going to talk about two policy things, which I think is interesting because at the very beginning, I've been listening through to the other episodes, and at the beginning we said we thought this series would be a lot about jobs and work and how AI is impacting on work. That is true. That's what we've talked about a lot. Some environment stuff, which we have covered, perhaps we should cover more, but also policy. And that's the bit that I'm finding the most interesting, looking at policy relating to AI. So we're going to talk about two things today. We're going to talk about AI in education, and we're going to talk about AI in Wandsworth Prison. So let's start by talking about AI in education.
Yeah, it's a subject that's very close to my heart because I'm a lecturer at university, and I've also been very interested in getting AI on the curriculum for many, many years.
So the Department for Education has put together a report on the review of the school curriculum, which is going to be rewritten for 2028. And we've both had a really good look through to see where AI features in the report. There's a lot of focus on making sure there's social equality in schools, making sure that children with special educational needs are being supported. There's quite a lot less on AI, even though it's a sort of tidal wave coming for us all. And where there is anything about AI, it's about teaching students how to protect themselves from it. What's your feeling about what you've read?
I wasn't massively impressed by what I read, to be honest. It was following a fairly traditional route, how it was talking about AI. Basically, they were lumping it in with digital literacy. I think it's an independent subject in itself. Apart from digital literacy, you've got to have AI literacy as well. And they said very, very little about AI as a subject area by itself. They were trying to lump it in with computing at GCSE level. And I see that problematic in two ways. At GCSE, at Key Stage Level 4, only 13% of students take computer science at a GCSE subject area anyway. So 87% of people will have any access to any AI literacy at all. The other area I see a problem with is computer science is already an overcrowded curriculum. There's so many different subject areas. How's AI going to be shoehorned into it? It's too big a subject to fit into it. I personally think that AI should be a separate entity, separate from computer science. What we're doing with computer science is taking data and handcrafting algorithms. We're engineering algorithms by us, by humans, by programmers, and getting something out of that system, building systems around the interplay between the algorithms that we've handcrafted and the data itself. AI is fundamentally different. AI is basically data-driven algorithm design. So the data is given to the algorithms themselves, and the algorithms evolve. And that process is what we call learning. So it's a fundamental different philosophy, a fundamental different way of doing things from computer science.
I think it would be worth finding out from you what your vision is of seeing AI being taught in schools and how that would work. But one of the things I just wanted to mention as well, often in these reports you see who's given evidence, and there wasn't a list, but there was a list of the people who were on the review panel, and none of them had an AI background. They all had an education background. Do you think that's a bit of a miss?
I think it's a big problem. You should have an AI expert there, because how can you possibly make an informed decision about the AI systems if you've got no experts there talking about the AI systems themselves?
It is interesting what you say, because the day that the report came out, I was listening to the Today programme, and their take on it was that kids were going to learn about how to spot like AI fakes.
To add something else that was in the report that you didn't mention, we're going down a very traditional route of basically saying assessments have got to be exam-based because of AI. I think that is a massive miss. They could be using AI more creatively to actually integrate it into the assessments themselves, but they're not doing that. They're basically running scared of AI.
So what would your magical school like, the School of St David, what would it look like?
I don't mind integrating it into other subject areas as well, but I would say that we'd have a separate bit of the curriculum that was purely dedicated to AI. It's going to have such dramatic impact to all of society that it deserves its own space.
Are you saying a GCSE in AI?
A GCSE in AI as a separate thing, separate from computer science. It's got to be.
That would be interesting. I wonder, like, for all those kids, for the 87, I hope these blimmin' numbers are right, Dave, the 87% of kids at GCSE who don't do computer science because it's boring, I wonder how many of those people would be up for doing a GCSE in AI. I reckon loads of them.
I think so as well, and I think it's also a part of the 87% of school kids who don't take computer science because it's boring, as you say. There's lots of girls. They see it as problematic to do coding in itself. Now, AI is not just coding. AI is about learning. AI is about teaching a system to learn. And I see that as potentially a way in to get people who are not interested in these systems getting interested in AI.
I want to paint, for listeners, I want to paint a picture of what this school looks like, or maybe what this GCSE in AI looks like. Imagine I'm doing a GCSE in AI. What am I going to study?
The field of AI is vast. You could cover lots and lots of different areas. You could look at algorithm design. You could look at the process of learning. You could look at basically analysing when the AI goes wrong, almost like a psychological viewpoint of the AI. You could look at very complex human-machine interfaces, HCI, human-computer interaction. You could look at the relationships between the AI and people. There's lots and lots of different areas you could look at that go beyond just coding and looking at the architectures behind the systems.
So maybe it's a GCSE called AI and Society?
Just call it AI.
It's got a nice ring to it.
Can we call it AI and Society?
No.
It's got a nice ring to it.
I think just call it AI because it covers everything. This is my bit of a bugbear I have with AI. People are always tagging it on to something else. It's not an extra. It's a fundamental subject area in its own right, and it deserves its own space and to be able to stand alone as a separate entity.
You tell them.
So the top line from this is that you're insisting there should be a GCSE and I guess an A-level in AI, and I'm saying AI and Society. But either way...
I'm saying AI. Not AI in society, just AI. If you start adding extra things onto it, it'll be subsumed into something else. Like IT went to ICT, went to computing, went to computer science. It'll just get diluted. So it needs to be AI. Everybody understands what AI is, but very few people have got a full understanding about the wide diversity of all of the AI subjects and topics you can cover.
I'm getting an idea just by doing this podcast and feeling like, you know, rather pompously that it's almost like a public service. And right at the beginning of this series, I said to you, I don't need to know how a car works. And you said, you do need to know how AI works. And we're having a bit of a go at explaining how AI works. And the more I think about it, the more I realise that we do need to know, because it is going to impact on every aspect of people's lives. So maybe we should write to Professor Becky Francis, or maybe we should send her this podcast episode and suggest that you and her have a meeting, because a GCSE in AI sounds sensible.
The reason why I feel so strongly about this, I've been going around schools for the last 10 years around Liverpool and talking to computer science teachers and basically trying to teach them about how to use AI. Part of the problem is teachers don't have a lot of time to learn a new subject area. But the problem is, if we go down this route, it'll be diluted even more. So we'll even have fewer people who are skilled in that area who can actually teach AI. and we'll be going down a downward spiral at that point. We need to reverse that and have teachers teach AI in an informed way.
So that leads on to the next thing. How are we going to be in a position where teachers even begin to know how to teach AI? How are they going to become skilled? They've got to be taught first.
They've got to be taught first. They've got to be retrained. It's got to be part of the curriculum. I've got colleagues in Hope University. Damien Aguirre is one of the colleagues I've got at Hope University. He's trying to teach AI to young teachers. He's banging on about it to the young teachers all the time. He insists on it, really. Now, there's very few people like Damien around at the moment. There should be more. I think people have got to get the difference between computer science, IT, and AI. ICT or IT concerns data, the analysis of data and systems. Computer science is talking about algorithms. AI is talking about learning, and they all build on each other. But as I said before, the relationship between the data and the algorithms in computer science is man-made. The relationship between the data and the algorithms in AI is machine-made. And that's the fundamental difference.
You came home from work today waving an academic paper around and you were very excited about something. So this is AI news. What is it you're so excited about?
This is real AI news, this is called Nested Learning, the Illusion of Deep Learning Architectures. It's by a load of researchers at Google. And I think they've made a major breakthrough in AI because it allows for continuous learning. So way back a few episodes ago, I said one of the major stumbling blocks that we've got to reach AGI is they can't continuously learn. It's called catastrophic forgetting. Because when you retrain...
Like for how many R's in strawberry?
Well, it's even worse than that. It means when you retrain a model, it can't learn anything from the past. It's as if you've wiped its memory clean every time you train it again. Every time you train a model, it forgets everything it's learned before. So when we learn new stuff, we don't forget all of our old stuff.
No. So does it mean that once this goes into large language models, it means that the AI MP Mark Sewards will know how many R's there are in strawberry?
Better than that, you'll be able to add new information as it goes along, and it'll be able to learn from that new information without forgetting the old information as it goes along.
So then this goes back to what we were talking about the other week, artificial general intelligence. This is taking us a step closer to that?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a really big breakthrough. I really do. It only came out at the start of November, and I think it's a really significant breakthrough.
And the paper's written by 4 academics who are employed by Google. They're not from an educational establishment.
You get lots of breakthroughs through big companies like this because they employ a lot of PhD people, really very bright people at Google and Meta and OpenAI to do research on these areas. A significant amount of their budget is on research. I work in higher education, and I think the actual process of research itself is going to change fundamentally because you're going to have a partner with your research now, and that partner is going to be AI. It allows you to do research far, far quicker than you had in the past. So, for instance, if you're trying to assimilate lots of data, analyse that data, and produce new information from it, you can do that far more effectively with AI. And in fact, AI is starting to learn to do that by itself as well. This is where research really takes off.
I spotted another story that has really intrigued me. So I'm always trying not to date this podcast, but this is being recorded just after the whole story of prisoners going missing from Wandsworth Prison. And James Timpson, who is in the House of Lords, he knows lots about prisons because he's from Timpson's The Shoe and Key people, and he's worked in prisons 4 years. He's employed people from prisons, so he's probably really brilliantly placed, frankly, to be prisons minister. His extra bit of job is looking after AI in that area. He made this announcement this week.
The checklists that we've made more robust are the same checklists across all prisons, but the number of releases per prison varies dramatically. In HMP Gartrey, they average 2 releases a year, whereas I previously said in Wandsworth it is 2,000. But that is why the digital team last week went into HMP Wandsworth to look at what are the opportunities for some quick fixes to embrace digital technology. We had the AI team that went in, and I'll give you a couple of examples. They think an AI chatbot would be really helpful, and also a cross-referencing for aliases, because we know some offenders have more than 20 aliases. So it is examples like that, and we've given the team the green light to get on with that.
The problem there that James Timpson mentions is that people have several different names, and this is why in a paper-based system it's hard to track them. So they're going to use something called Splink. So I asked you to have a look at it for me. Tell us about it. We're all idiots, remember.
The core of Splink is what's called a Ferengi-Sunter model that was created in 1969. It's essentially not strictly AI in the modern sense of the word. It's a probabilistic model, it's a mathematical model. Now, Splink may have learning built on top of it, and I'll explain why that might be so in a minute. Imagine that you're going through a sock drawer and you've got different types of socks that you want to pair up, and you've got different characteristics to help you pair up those socks. So you might have white socks, you might have check socks.
Check socks?
Yeah, I have check socks.
Do you?
Yeah.
You've got an awful sock drawer, I know that much.
You might have dots on your socks. They might have different coloured dots. You might have ones with little dinosaurs on. The dinosaurs might be different dinosaurs. Now, each one of those characteristics you can use to match the socks up, but the key bit is that those characteristics may say something more about the matching than other characteristics. For instance, you might have a load of black socks that don't really distinguish between different shades of grey, whereas if you've got like a little dinosaur in there, it might say something about how you should match the sock up a bit more.
Okay then. Over to our roving American to help explain. Do it slowly so the ones sat at the back can understand.
Hi, I'm here at the racetrack.
Oh, okay.
So what is Splink?
I don't know.
Splink is a Python package for record linkage that's used widely within government, academia, and the private sector.
Oh, okay.
It allows you to deduplicate
and
link records from data sets that lack unique identifiers.
Yep.
It can link, are you ready?
Ready.
Around 1 million records on a laptop within about a minute. That's fast.
I guess.
Let's say the following records lack a unique person identifier. Splink can help. You have Lucas Smith from London.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Born London, Feb 1st, 1984. Hi.
Hello, Governor.
Hello.
You have Lucas Smythe, born in Manchester.
They have a soccer team there, right?
Feb 7th, 1984. Hi.
I beg your pardon.
And you have another Lucas Smythe, also born on that same day, but no records of where they were born. Hi.
Hello, my good man.
Splink helps join the dots using probability match against each row to help create an estimated person ID. So are you him?
No, is my sister.
And you're not him?
Probably.
So who are you?
I am him. Or at least I was yesterday. I'm hoping to be him next week if I'm not washing my hair.
I don't think he's from Manchester.
So, there we have it.
Just messing with you. I'm not the first one, but the second me is more likely to be the third me. You know, after we deduplicate.
Splink in a nutshell.
I am he, as he is me, and you are me, and we are all together, as they say.
I guess.
Ta-ta, kids. Now, where did I leave my bike?
Giddy up. Well, Professor, what do you reckon? So, after some hurdles, have they found the same person, or are they backing the wrong horse?
It's purely mathematical, the way it functions at that level.
Right.
Now, if it's got a learning system underneath it, it means it learns which ones are important characteristics and which ones aren't important characteristics. If it hasn't, if it's purely mathematical, they don't. They just decide by hand what the important characteristics are.
And then you're saying there'd be a program that would make that decision about which of those are more important than the other.
What they're probably using there is something called Levenstein distance, which is basically the distance between each of those words. So the Levenstein distance between black and block, say, is 1.
Right.
But there's only 1 letter difference. But the Levenstein distance between black and broken is 5, because you've got to have a number of inserts and a number of movements of the letters to move it round. So that will tell you how far away a particular characteristic is from another characteristic.
I got in touch with the press office and they wrote back and they've explained a little bit more about what they're going to do to stop these, to crack down on these mistaken prison releases.
This is MTTM News. The government has announced new measures to clamp down on mistaken prison releases. A court's hotline will be set up to fast-track prison queries and reduce mistakes. The Department of Justice says up to £10 million will be made available to introduce AI to help frontline staff to avoid errors and ensure accuracy.
I did go back and say, well, what do you mean? And the press officer said, well, this is all in discussion at the minute. So they haven't got any detail right now, but it sounds like they're going to do what you're saying, put a bolt onto this splink and make sure that they're able to kind of cross-reference or make sure a machine can cross-reference for them. Because as James Stimpson is saying, 2,000 people leave Wandsworth Prison every year, and that's just one prison.
Yeah, and it's not a bad idea to use this particular model, but I think it's probably a better idea to use a proper AI system underneath that model to make those decisions rather than do it by hand.
Do you think that it sounds like what they're doing is part AI, part human?
Yes, it probably is, and it's not a bad idea. At the moment, it's fully human.
And that's not working?
That's not working.
We don't know what this is because no one will give us the full details, but and maybe they don't know. But I suppose if it's part AI, part human, then the human side is the bit that does the checking, and that's what we've talked about in this series, that this is the way you use AI. It's your, I was going to say partner in crime, but you know what I mean.
The other good thing about doing it that way as well is that you've got explainability built into the system. So if it's part AI and part human, you know why it's made a particular decision.
And explainability you've talked about in the past, that is one of the issues with AI is if you leave it to AI completely, you don't know how it came to the decision it came to, and what you need is to see the pathway.
That's right, yeah.
See, I'm getting quite good at this, aren't I?
That's right, that's good, that's good.
So this kind of reminds me of Guess Who.
It's Guess Who! The Mystery Face Game.
I used to love Guess Who. In fact, I love Guess Who so much that when me and my friend Ingrid went on holiday to Spain, we could play Guess Who using the original characters without a Guess Who board.
Is your person bald? Yes.
A very good question.
Because we knew all the characters.
Does your person have a beard? Uh-huh.
An excellent clue.
So in Guess Who, if you say, has yours got white hair? And the answer's yes, you end up knocking everybody down apart from 4 characters, and those 4 characters are Peter, Paul, George and Susan.
That means it's not you.
So long.
Or you.
Bye-bye.
Or you.
Toodaloo.
I guess you're Tom.
And I'm telling you now, George is the one who was in Wandsworth Prison because he's got a really dodgy hat on. Really dodgy hat.
You win. Let's play again.
Game cards do not actually talk.
It was him. I'm sure of it.
I'm not sure the Guess Who analogy is working. Perhaps put a sock in it, the analogy that is. Help us out, Professor.
Okay, so what you've got there, you've got a probabilistic system, yeah, and you're overlaying a symbolic system on top of it that uses deduction. So you're using deduction on top of the probabilistic system to make a decision about George being the prisoner.
And is that what you think they would or should do?
No, that's not what they're doing, because you're using a deductive system. They're going to use a more complex AI system that probably uses learning underneath it all. A deductive system, a symbolic system, is a very, very old-fashioned way of doing AI. So it's not like Guess Who in that sense. It's more like the sock analogy where you're learning the characteristics as you go along.
So I can't have the Guess Who joke in here then?
No, you can do, but it's not strictly correct.
So the Guess Who thing doesn't work at all, does it? Right, I'll just cut it all out. I asked you about it yesterday and you said...
No, it is to a certain extent. It is to a certain extent.
He sunk your battleship. Oops, wrong game.
Obviously, this will have an impact on people who are working in prisons. And I did get in touch with the union, the Prison Officers Association, and they said they had nothing to say about it. But do you think that will be an issue? Is this going to initially add to workload?
I should imagine it would reduce workloads rather than add to it, to be honest. It's putting a more secure system in there, a more robust system in there, really, that's automated. Anything's better than paper and pencil.
Ahoy hoy! You've reached the answer machine for Married to the Machine. Please leave your message for the machine now.
Hi, Steph and Dave. Loving the pod. Just wanted to know, has Dave seen The Creator? And does he envisage a time when physical entities with AI not only coexist with humans, but they develop their own culture that isolates us and them? How far away are we as a society from effectively robot or android racism?
Geez, keep it light.
Can you just really quickly explain The Creator? Because I haven't seen it, and I did watch a trailer for it yesterday, and I thought I was in two minds whether I wanted to watch it or not. Can you just very quickly explain it?
No.
It's very similar to Isaac Asimov's stories, where you've got a whole species of robots coexisting with humans. Now, in The Creator, they're hunting down the robots. There's been a war. Mankind doesn't want any mechanisms available to it, so they're basically destroying all the robots they've built, and that they exist as a separate community. And so the robots are the victims in this case.
A few years ago, I was in a short story writing group, and I wrote a kind of jokey piece about how we were living in a world where, I'm from a trade union background, so we're living in a world where everybody got the workplace rights they needed, but actually they weren't doing that much work because the robots were doing all the work, and all the union people were on a march with robots who were like falling off curbs around Westminster. Thanks, Steve-O, for the question, because this is kind of for series 2, because this is about robotics and spatial computing. Do you think there might come a point where people start to think about robot rights?
I don't know about robot rights. I think people will start to interact with robots. You'll see robots around the streets in about 10 years, 20 years' time, humanoid robots. And the reason for that is there's too many industries producing robots at the moment. They're getting produced in China, Unitree, a big company in China. There's Neo. You've got Elon Musk, who's been tasked to produce 1 million robots in the next 10 years.
This is MTTM News. I'm Hedy Logic. The world's richest man just got $1 trillion pay package, but he's got to build 1 million humanoid robots in return.
So these things are going to happen. Now, to start off with, they mightn't be particularly sophisticated, but they'll develop, and they'll develop rapidly. As soon as they go out into the wild, as soon as they start to learn about how to interact in the environment.
So at the moment, we're just laughing at them. I saw some clip of a robot doing the cooking, and this robot knocked the frying pan on the floor and then just started slipping in the food. And I actually felt sorry for it. That's the point, isn't it? It doesn't take much for you to start having sympathy with a thing that's trying to move in the same way that you move.
Yeah, that's right. You anthropomorphise it, really. I've seen many clips of robots falling over and everybody laughs at them and stuff like that. If you're laughing at that one, have a look at the Elon Musk robot, the Tesla robot, Optimus, walking around a snowy field and how it doesn't fall over. And then look at how sophisticated that robot is compared to the R1, which was the one that was cooking. We'll probably start treating them a lot like slaves. Which is, again, what Isaac Asimov was talking about with robotics, really, basically treating them as an underclass. We've got to think about if they are truly intelligent or they're just things, how we should treat them. I mean, would you treat a dog or a horse cruelly because it's less intelligent than you? And who says, how do you measure intelligence? Is a robot intelligent? Is it more intelligent than a horse or a dog?
Before you send us your answers on a postcard, please note I've never chased my tail, yelped at a passing bicycle, or licked the gas man's knees, despite my many urges.
And what if we have a situation where, nobody's working, we're all on universal basic income, so we've hardly got any money, so it's us and the robots sort of traipsing around the place, and then just a tiny handful of people at the top. I was talking to someone on the phone today, actually, about this, and she was, saying we'd end up with a feudal system again.
I think society isn't getting ready for the changes that are going to come. Particularly politicians. They have no idea about the changes that are going to overtake us, the tidal wave of change that's coming, and we're really not setting up society in the best way to deal with those situations.
And we're going to deal with all this in Series 2, aren't we, Dave?
We'll answer all of these questions in Series 2, and we'll have final, definitive answers to all of them.
Doing this podcast has been really interesting for me because I've really listened to what you've been saying. I mean, I feel like I've learnt loads. Listeners have got in touch and they've said that when they hear news stories, like somebody got in touch to say they'd heard the news story about Amazon, 75% of jobs going to robots. She said she felt she understood that story better because she'd heard something you'd been saying on here. So I'm really enjoying making it. It's fun. Our AI characters are great. What are you getting out of it?
I think it's a good voice for somebody who really has been in the AI field for many, many years. And the reason why I started doing it is because a lot of people are talking about AI when they really don't really know about AI. There's lots of, I won't say charlatans, but there's lots of people who are blagging a little bit, and it's a lot of disinformation out there, to be honest. So I feel it's my duty to uncover what actually is really AI and what's disinformation in this field.
And I think there's a load of things that we haven't covered. So we talked at the beginning that your job title is Professor in AI and Spatial Computing, and we haven't really got into the whole spatial computing thing because I sort of feel like the public isn't ready for that yet. I really hope we can carry this on, and we'll do that in the future. There's so much to talk about still, but there's also loads of new stuff to talk about. I mean, this could just be never ending in a way, couldn't it?
The whole way it's going to affect society is going to be an important area to look at. It's going to affect everything. It's not just the technology itself, it's how it's going to impact the whole of society and impact everybody in it.
You have been listening to Married to the Machine, featuring Professor David Reid, Stephanie Power, and me, the AI. Concept, recording and mixing by Stephanie Power. Sound design and music by Matt Power. Thank you for listening. See you on the other side.